under your butt.
I move for no man.
You'll be dead.
Anyway, I started blasting. Bang, bang.
I used to be an adventurer like you.
Just a flesh wound.
You guys all think I'm a hero, and I'll accept that responsibility.
Hello everybody, welcome to session 19 of Campaign 4. I'm doing the recap for today, like I do all of them. Last we left off, we were in the cavern and we decided to leave. We go through the fog gate that was essentially keeping us stuck in there, and we leave, and we get a very generous long rest from Ben. Big ups to him, and we level up to level 5. Things have changed since we've been in there. We know Edward was stuck in this place for a very long time, longer than anyone should live, a couple thousand years, give or take, like a while. And we fear that there has been some time shenanigans going on with us as well. So when we leave and things are different, we're not too surprised, but still pretty surprised. What wasn't there before, besides the obvious flora and fauna changes, was a bunch of pole arms with skulls and helmets on them, and some torches. That wasn't here before. The armor belonged to what seems like ATK soldiers. How'd they get in here? That's a little strange. And we deliberate for a little bit, and then some lizard folk show up and start yelling at us. And they're just yelling at us in Draconic, and they seem upset, and they start motioning to leave pretty much. Edward actually does know Draconic, so he does translate for us. And we learn that we're pretty much trespassing on their grounds after they made a deal with Queen Jude to keep outsiders away from this hunting grounds from the Basilisks. We just say, hey man, we're sorry. We don't want to be here any longer than we want to. We'll leave. We'll go. But our persuasion check failed, and they want some gold as some recompense. So we see that there's a bit more in the woods, and decide, okay, we're just going to give up our life savings pretty much, which isn't like a whole lot of money, but still some good amount. And Peter, being a little trickster man he is, tries to palm out some silver and saying, oh no, that's all I got. But they see through it, and they start lying at us, and we start to step up to each other, ready for a fight to happen. And then a big footfall happens in the jungle to our right. And then another. And another. The lizard folks start freaking out. And one of them screams, Godzilla! And we look to our right, and there is a huge, very scary creature. Everyone books it. We start an initiative to see who does what first. Durian goes first, and is the only person to really get his gold back because he gave up all of it. And then he booked into the bushes with everyone else following. Chase sequence. We have a series of obstacles we have to get through. The first one being a 20-foot long tar pit that is infinitely wide, too far wide for us to go around, and we have to get through. There's some dead bodies and corpses in the tar that are at the top that form a little stepping stone path, as well as a moose that seems like it's there recently. It wasn't decomposed. And Durian just goes across these little corpses as stepping stones, and Desperado, the nimble half-elf that he is, or half-elf that he is, goes across as well and follows the path, making it a little bit harder to follow. Peter uses his mage hand to throw a rope to Durian, who's across the way, and Durian just whips him across with his immense strength. Edward tries to swing Tarzan style, going for a vine, which ended up being a snake, and he gets almost there, but there was no momentum in the vine, so he lands just short of the path. But Kevin, who is right behind him, takes the vine with the momentum, gets all the way across, and helps him out, and we keep running. We found a mudslide that was blocking our path with a log or a fallen tree that was going across the way. That seemed like the most obvious path to cross. Durian, once again going first, just clears the 15-foot gap and gets the other side and holds it steady. Desperado, as dexterous as he is, goes across the way, does the same thing, holds it tight. Peter, uses our help to get across. And then the logs start cracking and bowing in the middle. Edward looks for the smallest point between the two, and that's not a 15-foot gap, but smaller, and attempts to make the jump, slips just 1 foot in, but gets across, and so does Kevin, who's following right behind him. And then we're out of the jungle. Well, kinda. We're not being chased by a monster anymore. And now we gotta find our way back to somewhere that's familiar in the Feywild. Oh, good luck. Durian, who is a far traveler, is the background, I believe, has something that helps with the local geography and terrain, but he's gotta have seen it before to recognize. So he tries to lead the pathway out. Tries to find a good way to somewhere that he recognizes, but is absolutely biffing it, going the wrong way. But Desperado, subtly pushes him towards the right direction to save his feelings without, bringing it up. Once we get to somewhere that's recognizable, Durian takes everyone along the road and finds a bunch of corpses along the side and a really nasty smell and a weird ghoul guy who's just like going from body to body, just checking up on him and looking. The group talks a little bit about like, do we avoid it? Do we talk to it? Or do we just kill it and move on? We go to try to talk to it, but then we decide just to kill it. The fight opens up, and Peter uses a really spooky spell called Hunger of Hadar. It's just a big circle of darkness with some slippery suction noises happening from inside, and a lot of tentacles. It's really weird and spooky. Hurts anyone that's in it, and it keeps them from moving so fast. And that kind of just defined the whole fight. Everyone just kind of just pelted this thing in there with, range attacks. Had an aura that would damage people, but no one really got in it. Edward, took the turn to set up go into his werewolf form and transformed and used his right and everything, but didn't get to use it, and we ended the combat. There was a wagon after a little bit that started pulling up. That was being pulled by two horses that were on fire. Nightmares, if you want to know specifically. Everyone hid in a ditch to try and think about what's going on, but Durian messed up everything because he rolled a nat 1 on his stealth check. And so when everyone was hiding next to each other, we got on the flip side of that spell, Hunger of Hadar, and that was cast on us by one of the people on the stagecoach. It wasn't fun. They went invisible, and Durian was able to get out and starts hitting one in hopes that they'll drop the spell, and started yelling at everyone to give them like a sense of direction because it was very dark. Everyone gets out, but everyone does take some damage, and we stop there in the middle of combat. Thank you for session 19 recap. I'll see you next time when we pick up in the middle of combat. Bye.